and he's going to score Bristol's third try.
What
Great play by Augustine Pichot.
And Bristol have made a bit of history, winning the European Challenge Cup for the first time ever.
And Bristol have won. They won the local derby.
I'm James Dunn, and you're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate.
Hey, you're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate, a Bristol Bears podcast made by fans for fans. We're three friends who love the club, the game and all things Bears. Well, 2 weeks ago, we road tested our new equipment with the big boss. We had Tom Tatum down here. But boys, we've gone one better.
Yes.
We've got someone even more important than Tom Tatum.
What's bigger than a friend of the pod?
Well, I mean, a friend of the pod who comes back for a second go when we invite him. So I'm sure regular listeners will realise that we're talking about good friend of the pod, James Dunn, who has come down to see us again. Give him a little clap.
Hey, Dunny.
Thank you very much. So, James, we do appreciate you coming down to help us do
this equipment.
Pod. We have got a spare microphone. We feel like we need to use it.
Setup compared to last time is so much better.
I know, and we're all sober as well, which is good.
For the time being.
But we really appreciate it. But first off, obviously, when we saw you back in the summer, it was the week after we'd finished. You were just about to have a shoulder op, and of course, students of social media and Instagram will know exactly what's going on with your recovery because you've been putting a lot of content out there, which has been brilliant. And just give us an update on how you've been and how your recovery's been in pre-season and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's been really good. I think I'm 13 weeks into it now. If you couldn't tell from my video, so sort of counting them each week and slowly losing my mind with the intros. But it's gone really well. It's been, I think, hopefully ahead of schedule. I think initially it was meant to be a 4 to 6 month injury, so hopefully slightly ahead of that, but not sure yet.
Yeah, mate, just give us a small snippet insight into your mindset when you got the injury, because obviously, as listeners, we don't really appreciate that side of the game. How are you feeling personally?
Probably a bit relieved to have the surgery, to be honest, because I did my shoulder in the Connacht pre-season game before last year. So there was quite a few of the games where sort of I'd make a tackle the next 5 minutes, my arm would be dead and not really working. So it'd be quite nice to, when I'm back playing, play with two arms. Would be quite
you feel a bit more freedom in that. You could. I mean, it's probably mental for the three of us to think that he's not even been. He's been smashing people and he's not 100%. Yeah. So it's bonkers.
I've actually had this surgery already on my left one. So I had that in 2021, and my left shoulder's felt really good since. Yeah. So it was probably a little bit of confidence taken from that as well, knowing that I'm getting it done on the right.
Yeah.
So has your recovery been a bit quicker than the other shoulder? Is that what you're sort of saying?
Yeah, my left one took 6 months, but I think when you're younger, I think they try and prolong it a little bit to make sure you're good. But now I'm old and weathered, they're just rushing back out there.
I mean,
old and weathered, we know what that feels like.
I mean, full respect. Last season, we had no idea that you were carrying an injury. I mean, you're just 100%, week in, week out. So fair play, to get it sorted and hopefully about the season.
I got a quick question on that. And what's your kind of the mental side of it? How do you approach that, knowing that you've got a kind of schedule, but you obviously it takes a while, I guess, to feel like you're going to get results. How do you keep yourself going, and what do you do?
Well, I think that's partly why I've started posting stuff like that. Firstly, it keeps me a bit accountable to actually doing things and not just lying in bed or gaming or whatever. I'm actually getting out of the house and doing stuff. It's boring being injured, but you also miss the Bronco. You miss all the running tests in pre-season. Yeah. So there's perks to it. Obviously, being injured in season when you're watching boys play and missing out on that is really tough. But when it's pre-season you're missing, there's worse things in the world, isn't there? So.
And I guess, to be honest, it's giving you a little bit of a. You've been doing a little bit more kind of club social mediaing, because I think I saw you in the cockpit of a 737 when you were off to Portugal and sat in there. I didn't think that was allowed anymore. There was rules against putting citizens in.
I think the pilot was Welsh.
Ah, right.
And I think he wanted to meet Zamet, and then I ended up coming.
You ended up flying it.
I ended up rushing in instead.
Yeah.
Zamet didn't go in the cockpit, so I think he was a little bit gutted that it was me in the cockpit. But
Did you put on a Welsh accent?
slick my hair back a bit.
Yeah. And put a bit of fake tan on.
And honestly, mate, have literally your mum and dad seen enough of you since the op?
My
Mum, yeah.
To be fair, my mum has been. She was really. I lived at home after the op, so I went home for 10 days or whatever.
Yeah,
she looked after me.
Well, there's no better place to be, is
Exactly.
So I think that actually kicked off my rehab really well, because it was like, for 10 days you're in a sling, can't really do much. But if you're having to sort of cook and clean your own gaff, it's
Wipe your own arse, yeah.
exactly. So give Sue all the best jobs tonight.
Well, I think we should move on, because we're going to talk about rugby.
Yes.
So, I mean, I went down to the old. Well, I saw you down there at the open training session, which I think that it was the word training. It was a very loose sense of the phrase, but it was quite nice for fans to see your boys sort of strolling around. The very, very gentle passing drill.
We always seem to do that on, like, because they played Connacht the day after, so obviously when you see open training session, all the boys are like, oh, we can't do too much.
No, of course.
That would be like our captain's run day.
But I think none of the sort of fans really obviously didn't know that. So it was like, and I only knew it because I know one of Joyce's mates plays cricket with me at Bishopston, and he told me the next day that he goes, "Oh yeah, you know Joyce's in town. They're playing Bristol at the HPC." And in fact, he told me the result on the Saturday before. Like a few people knew, and then it came out on
social media.
It came out. They'd videoed it, and it was on their YouTube channel, and that was the only time there was. But anyway, it was a pre-season, so
it was. We with like our, I don't want to say first strength team, but we had like more experienced players playing the first half, and I think it was 12-7 or something like that. And then we had a few academy boys getting a bit of a run out and stuff.
You can't like read anything.
Well, that's what pre-season's all about, isn't it? It's getting minutes into legs and building up stamina.
It's quite nice because you work on a few things, you then try it in a game, and then Pat comes in and goes, right, this worked, this didn't work.
Yeah,
fair play.
So some other stuff.
On that basis, I mean, the analysis, is it exactly like it would be, a Premiership game then? They're studying everything.
Yeah, we're pretty, I can't think of the word, but we're like quite regimented with no matter what the training or game is.
Yeah.
Even if we're in a down week with no game, we're still reviewing training the exact same as if we were playing Prem semi-final. It's good. It gives us consistency.
See, I love that. That's a really good point, because a lot of opposition supporters, when they see us play, they because the brand of rugby we do play, a lot of opposition supporters look at it and kind of think like they're just making it up as they go. But you just explained then, it is so like that structure and that system is so regimented, and you're constantly going over and reworking things again, and you know what I mean. It's there's a lot more stuff that goes on.
We call it like our Bears way, or our Bears system is basically, if everyone just does a 6 out of 10 and does their job, we feel like we've got enough to win. And then you have a couple of players bring their X factor, and in the structure you'll see Calla and like chucking offloads, Gabs chucking offloads. It's like, okay, we train that, but we're not like telling people to offload. It's just you have your structure, and then the X factor players come out.
You have the flexibility with that. Yeah.
But like even Gab's offloading is like, the line he'll be running will be relatively in system. I say relatively.
I mean, no one could predict the line Gabs runs. Surely can they?
He lives behind our own post.
I mean, the beauty is the opposition can't as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly, that's what we love about it.
Sometimes you'll genuinely be on the pitch. You're in the middle, and you're like waiting for a ruck just to fall at your feet or something, and Gabs will pick it up and run 30 metres backwards to the right, and you're like, am I even going to bother tracking him? Do I bother tracking him? He's going to end up somewhere in front of me. It'll be fine. It was like
Ellie Kildunn in the England game yesterday when she scored those 2 tries like diagonally across the pitch. And I did think that the forwards thinking, should we just let her go? Let's just back her to score.
Best one was where she didn't even score off it. She beat like 6 people off it.
Yeah, absolutely.
She early on.
She's some player. She is. Anyway, so since then there's been like 2 pre-season games. There's one up at Sale, Prem Cup, kind of mixed side, and then there was obviously Gloucester Friday night. with a slightly more a stronger team, I think, but still a mix. I mean, without going into any detail, I mean, what was the mood in the camp after these 2 games? Does everyone feel like they're on track for next Sunday? Are they feeling fit and good?
So, every year, it's always really hard to tell how you're tracking until realistically Prem round 1. Like we've had pre-seasons where we've beaten everyone in our pre-season games, and then you come to the first game, you feel like it's like you've never trained together. And then you have ones like last year, I think we lost all our pre-season, lost to Hartbury, lost it in our pre-season, and then go out and you win the first 2 games of the Prem. So it's tough to tell, but I think physically, boys are in a good shape. I think against Sale, the comms was we had good opportunities to win it, which up there is actually quite hard.
God.
Like we don't have a great record up there anyway.
Yeah. I took that as a positive, actually.
Yeah, apparently we went through on the Monday after like probably 5 or 6 opportunities to score tries, which maybe the final pass didn't happen or something like that. And then Gloucester, I think, was a bit of a scrap. So
he looked great.
They had a young team. I think they were obviously welcoming back Zamet to Kingsholm as well.
What I loved about that is because Zamet's quite clean cut, isn't he? He comes across as quite clean cut, but he mixed it up, didn't he? I know he was getting booed, every time.
Good to see. I saw him on Saturday. We had our family day on Saturday, so like everyone comes in, brings girlfriends and parents or whatever. I saw he had a little smile on his face. I think he enjoyed that.
I love the passion.
Yeah,
quite nice to see that grit in there.
I mean, seriously, is he the smoothest skinned rugby player you've ever played with?
He might be. Yeah.
There's not a hair on him. He's slick anything, isn't he?
Well, he's
slipstreaming behind him, surely.
He's rapid. I think it's just wind resistance. He has to moisturise your legs to remove drag, I think.
Yeah. Well, we know because he ran through us last season a couple of times at the Ashton Gate,
absolutely,
on that game. Yeah, so no, it looked good. And I think that's gonna set up the away game at Gloucester, the proper Prem game in a few weeks. That's gonna be spicy, I reckon. Because obviously, I mean, you boys have got it wasn't a great night last season, and you boys have got a statement to make, haven't you?
They're the only team to beat us twice. Oh, Sale did, but they beat us home and away, didn't they?
I mean, just out of interest again, and I know your training and your video analysis and reviewing is very structured, but is there a bit of you that thinks you've got to go to the shed, you've got to go to Kingsholm this year and sort of make a statement because of what happened last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's obviously you always get it with Bath where you feel like you owe them one.
Yeah.
Especially after losing the semi, there'll be first game at the Rec or whatever will be up for it.
Yeah.
I think Gloucester beat us twice. Sarries obviously always do well against us as well. Like I feel like there's a few teams who feel like we owe one.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got Sarries away second game.
Yeah.
Friday, 5:30. Isn't it?
5:30 on a Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. So that must be like. Is that what's the optimum
Friday night?
I'm sure we asked you this before, didn't we? Because Saturday 5:30 just seems like you've got a whole day dragging out, and it's hard to keep motivated, I guess. But I don't know.
Friday night's lovely because you train less in the week.
Yeah.
Because you can't. It might be a 5 or 6 or whatever. Train less. You get the whole of Saturday and Sunday to yourself. Atmosphere's always better because everyone finishes work and gets drunk.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You say that, but you get a few students in. I've had a whole pint spilt over my back because some idiot student.
I actually walked out of that game, didn't I?
Yeah,
I'd had enough. There were some right plonkers behind us.
That's why we sit at the Dolman, because we sat in the South Stand once and it's just full of it. So you're right. You're kind of right. It's good for the marketing man and and obviously we need as much money as possible. So yeah, Friday nights are good fun.
Do you know what? On that note. I just want to pick up on something you said last when we interviewed Tom Tainton. Because you said about a Netflix series. I reckon that is something that would be amazing for Bears. If we, like they bring out these Netflix series,
Six Nations type thing.
But with Bears, I just think we've got so many characters in our squad. It would really fly. What do you reckon?
Well. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of doing that thing at the moment with those sort of social media boys, aren't they?
TikTokers.
The counter-ruck. And
we got Imogen.
Yeah,
some TikTok.
She's been
I mean,
intellectual questions like how many grains of sand is there in the world?
What's your favourite pie?
I mean, to be fair, I get it. I mean, it's quite good fun. It's something a bit different for you boys, and it's aiming. It's not aiming at us, is it?
I think it's after Alona came in, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Sort of, obviously with the women's game, how big that's getting, and like they're selling out, like sold out Twickenham already for the final next week and stuff. Like, there's definite growth in rugby. Where it's not all just.
I got no problem. with it.
Old jogies like us.
It's not all stodgy old men, is it?
No. Do you know what? One thing I'd love to see though, and this would be the only positive of a defeat, but I'd love if the cameras were in there when Pat was raising our with you voice, because I'd love to, the charm and all that element would be completely gone. I mean, I don't want you to tell us about it, but I can only imagine what a beasting from Pat would sound like and look like.
He's a lot calmer now.
Is he?
Yeah. Pat's first year was my first year, so we were still in the champ. I'm sure I can say there's one of them where like he had a go at bats the first time he was round. So because obviously bats went away for a bit, but when he was here the first time, we called him Big Bats. He was a chunky boy.
Yeah, chunky.
And I think they were like going through like a work rate clip, and it was making everyone sit down when they'd made a tackle. And it was only like 2 minutes of play. Like, and Bats hadn't made a tackle in the 2 minutes of play, and he just went off on him. It was like my second row. Why is he not making a tackle? And we're on our own 5 metre line. So it was like stuff like that. But do you know what? After losses, he's pretty calm. To be honest, you get it a bit more on Monday.
Yeah,
that's all sort of like personal.
Yeah. That's understandable.
I can't believe anyone having a go at Bats. He's such a lovely bloke, isn't he?
Well, he got invited back, didn't he, for a second time around? So he obviously, pulled his socks up, hasn't he?
I think when you're young, you have to get a bit of stick, don't you?
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
Just like gets you into the.
You got to respect the headmaster, haven't you, as a youthful pupil. Yeah.
You told us when you came on before. I remember you telling us about, you thought you'd made a tackle, it was pretty good, and Pat was like, that's not a tackle. And you thought, well, I thought I did a right job, but it's. I mean, you're pros, aren't you? It's feedback is what I guess drives you forward, and like quite literally in your case. But yeah, no, it's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Right. We've got a game. Like, it's been a long time coming, but we actually have got a Premiership game coming up next Sunday.
We cannot wait.
We can't wait. Of course we can't. We've been waiting a long time, haven't we? And it's Leicester Tigers. I don't know whether there's an optimum first team you'd play, but it is what it is. We'll ask you in a minute, James, about what you think and what the feeling in the camp's like, and how you'd prep for the week. But we did, me and Lee this morning did have a little chat with Elliott, who is the co-host of the Rolling Maul pod, and we had a little chat with him. Knowledgeable guy. We've been on their pod a couple of times. He's been on ours, and just to get his kind of sense of how their pre-season's gone, what the new regime with Jeff Parling's like, new players, and you asked him a few things about young players to look out for, that sort of stuff. Good little chat. It went on a bit. I had to cut it out a bit, and he was very, very eloquent, but it was quite hard to get him to stop talking because he's a passionate boy. So I think what we'll do now is we'll have a little listen to what Elliott said. And then after that, we'll have a think about the game. So we'd love to welcome on to Bears Beyond the Gate, Elliott Butlin from the Rolling Maul pod, the Leicester Tigers fan pod. He posts under View from LE2. They're good friends of the pod. His partner in crime, Mike, who then moved to Australia, has been on Bears Beyond the Gate a few times. And we've always enjoyed jousting with our friends from the East Midlands. So I'm going to go straight in, Elliott, with a really quick question. Have you and your fans and the club put Scrumgate to bed? Or is that always going to linger?
We hold a grudge for a long time in Leicester. It's what makes us so successful. We have a long list of grudges, and until they retire or leave, it holds. No, I don't know. I think, from my perspective, Scrumgate, and which then turned into Gengegate, quick succession. To be fair, the year after, because we had the year after we won really down in the last minute at your place, and then we put a decent score and put home. At that point, I thought we'd scratched the record and we sort of proved a point. And so I've sort of moved on from it since. I think there's a few which as I say, we hold grudges in Leicester, so I don't think that'll ever go. The one thing I do think is, ever since that sort of moment and get those two games or two moments, the games ever since have been great. Like if you look back at the history of Leicester Bristol games, ever since Scrumgate, the games are amazing. Like there always is something about them. There's always a bit of drama, and I think it's good. You know what I mean? Like, the two big clubs, two famous old clubs, having a bit of. I don't think it's quite as spicy as maybe it was a few years ago, but like it's nice to have something where you look down on the fixture list and you go, "Oh, Bristol." I mean, you only have to look at last year. I mean, two games completely different, but massively good games in different ways. And it's all set up for next week. It's game. That's the other thing. Good crowds. The Bristol games for our place always get a good crowd. You lot always travel well anyway, but they do seem to get a better crowd at Welford Road. And I was seeing a tweet in the week that it's about 18,000 tickets sold already ahead of next week. So you think that's going to be close to a sellout? If you look, you've still got another 7 days to sell tickets. So yeah, I think I'm over it, but I do think it's good to have this sort of. It's good that it happened. I think it's created these sort of good moments.
Shall we just do it one more time? Don't lie, Pat. Don't lie.
Forward.
It was brilliant. It was funny. I got to say, when I was watching that on telly, the whole thing was hilarious. And John Afoa the man that really came out of it with that enhanced reputation was John Afoa, who just made his own decision just to go back on. And anyway, let's move on from that. So I've got one more question to get you going on. Would it be fair to say that you were quite surprised about how well you ended up doing last season? And to be fair, we're quite competitive in the Premiership final. And if Dan Cole hadn't had a kind of brain fart and tried to charge down a kick for the first time in his career, do you think you had a chance to win that?
It's an interesting one. I think the lesson sort of last year sort of taught all of us is that not that the first 2/3 of the season are meaningless, but it's all about the running. Do you know what I mean? It is all about how you come out of a Six Nations period, because the 2/3 we were all right. Don't get me wrong, we weren't perfect, but I don't think the narrative was that we were a bit of a disaster for 2/3 of the season. That wasn't quite right. We were top 4 for a lot of the season. The difference is the running. We turned into a top 2 team, and I think we just blitzed it so well. The final was an interesting one. The Dan Cole one isn't the killer, really. It was the way the scrums were refereed was the one that harbours most sort of injustice in Tigers fans' minds, because we had them on toast at scrum time, and the referee, instead of giving the penalty against us, gives the penalty to us, which he should have done. The game goes a completely different way. And I think the yellow card itself, I know it's Coley, so he gets a bit of a free pass anyway, but that isn't the moment that sort of hurts the most. It is the scrums. It's Leicester. We fantasise about scrums all the time. So that's what gets us most sort of aggrieved, really, is when scrums don't go our way. So yeah, it was an interesting sort of season last year where for 2/3 of it we looked just a standard top 4 team. We didn't look anything out of the ordinary, but the last part of the season we looked genuinely top draw. So it does make, I don't know, but we're just one of a number of teams. I think we're all in a similar sort of boat where if you look at it and just go, the difference is how you approach the running, because all us, there's about 5 or 6 teams that went into that running all with similar hopes and dreams. It was just us that sort of kicked on. It's like a horse race, isn't it? Everybody's come into the final furlong and we were the team that kicked.
It is. Okay, I think Lee's got a question for you.
Yeah, just on that basis, I mean, looking forward to this season, I mean, you've made some quality signings, haven't you? Who are you kind of most looking forward to seeing in a Tigers shirt this season of the new additions?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of not new faces. I really like Orlando Bailey. I have to say, I think as a real smart pickup, I think that's, given the sort of like shambles the 10 search became at certain points, which were trying to replace Pollard. I think between Bailey and O'Connor, you've got 2 really smart acquisitions, and I'm intrigued how both of them go. And then just another one to sort of throw forward would be, again, it's another back. It's Hamer Webb, who's come over from Cardiff. He's looked. It's a weird position because with Ollie Hassel-Collins and Radwan, we've not exactly struggling in the wing department, but Hamer Webb has come out very, very strong in pre-season. In the first friendly and then the 2 Prem Cup games, he's looked pretty good. So I think as a sort of a dark horse signing, I think that could be, I think that could be really interesting. But a lot of it, we've almost gone back to almost Moneyball sort of signings where they're not star names as such. But like Tarek Afar, he could be, if he gets his scrimmaging right, he could just really kick off. His carrying work is so good as a loose head. He's proper just a ball of anger with a ball in hand. But his scrimmaging is probably his weak area, and it's sort of, he had a bad experience against Coley last year, and it's sort of in our fans' minds, it's sort of like, but he's got to get that right, because if he does, he's got it all to do. So I think those 3, I'll give you 3 names. So Hafar, Bailey, and Hamer Webb, all for different reasons. I think they're clever signings.
And of course, you've also got a new head coach, DOR. Did you bring in? Did you have any other new coaches come in as well, or was it just the change at the top?
So we had Mike Forshaw come in as defence coach, and then as quickly left, but this time for personal reasons, which is quite sad, really, because it's a shame, really, because he was one where everyone was sort of excited by. He's got such a good reputation, and then but that was sort of mitigated because Anthony Allen, also was a new coach that came in primarily to sort of work with the youngsters, senior academy lot that come in, that sort of 19 to 21 group that's transition, and he stepped up into Mike's shoes as defence coach. And whilst that isn't ideal, he was such a good player in defence, so it sort of mitigated the loss there, really. So yeah, we've done the annual. It's funny, ever since Scrumgate, you've obviously kept with Pat Lamb, and I think we've gone through about 500 coaches since then. So it's which is always quite funny.
Yeah, so I mean, Jeff Parlin, came from Australia, didn't he? Was he he's an interesting kind of career path, because I always really liked him when he came on the England scene, sort of real proper old school, sort of guy that you'd follow into the fire, into the trenches with. I mean, do you think he's going to add layers of sort of grit onto Tigers from last year, or do you think there's going to be a big change in playing style, or are you going to go back to kind of a real forward dominated style again, do you think?
Yeah, the forward stuff I don't think would ever change. I think it will always be, whatever stereotype you want to think about Leicester, it will always be that. We did flirt with sort of moving away from a forward orientated game under Major, and it fell apart so quickly that it was sort of seen as being, we'll never do that ever again. It was just, it's like when you try and change your style, it's not how it is. Jeff, being an ex-player, is probably the thing that sort of what makes everyone so excited, really, because he was a player during the period when we were really successful. And one of the things, I know Leicester get a bit of a bad rep for being sort of having ex-players and having an obsession with having ex-players, but the reason why it sort of works is because they sort of know the high standards that you need to have at Leicester. And I always keep saying, every team in any sport will always say they have high standards. No one comes out and says, "Oh, we've got low standards." Everyone keeps talking about high standards. The reason why Leicester was so successful is because they actually turned it into something. It meant high standards meant something, and being an ex-player, they sort of know about it. And so Jeff's in that sort of position where he knows exactly how high the standards are, and he is driving that from a Leicester perspective. And you can just see it in how he talks after the game. Like, we beat Nottingham and put 76 points on them, but we conceded 25. So he was just like, "Yeah, satisfactory. We ain't that good. We conceded 25." It's stuff like that that sort of goes for it. So I think it will be forward orientated. I think with Hassel-Collins and Radwan and Hamer Webb, as I mentioned, there will be a move to having an all-action game, like in terms of having forwards that can do the dirty stuff. I think there will be a forward-orientated game, but the backs will be given a license to go and play.
Lee, brilliant.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've always loved about Tigers, that you do stay true to the tradition. And when you say about like employing, the great Liverpool sides to like the 70s and 80s in football, they employed backroom staff, didn't they? And they always had a solid foundation. And it's one of the things that has always impressed me with Tigers, staying true to your roots. One question I had for Elliott actually was, a couple of years ago, we were really impressed by a lot of players in like your academy, your youth system that came through. Can you give us a couple of names of players that you think will be like breakthrough players for this season, Elliott?
Yeah, sure. So the academy for us is probably, again, it's such a conveyor belt for us. It sort of, all our fans love it when we get the young lads in. There's a couple that are sort of like last year, Emeka Leone and Joe Woodward were the ones that sort of broke through into the first team. He's one where if it wasn't for injuries, he'd have had a good season last year. So keep an eye on him as a back row. Ollie Allen at 9 is one that I would be investing some shares in. We are running slightly tighter on depth in scrum half position. So he's got a great opportunity to become the number 2 scrum half. He's had a couple of bad years of injuries, but sort of overcome them. So he's shone so far at scrum half. Who else is there? There's quite a few. Like Archie van der Fleer is a loose head. He's got promoted to the 3rd choice loose head, but has got an opportunity to kick on with props. We go through quite quickly with injuries. It's quite it's a tough position to play in. So he's one that I think will shine at there. And then last one is at fullback. George Pearson. He's had a really good 12, 18 months in the Prem Cup, and again we're sort of running a little bit light at fullback. So there is an opportunity for him to get some game time if injuries happen to Freddie Stewart. He steps up quite nicely, really. So he's bulked up a little bit as well. So yeah, there's a few people there to keep an eye on.
That's brilliant, Elliot. That's really, really good. We get some great insight from people like yourself, because for the best win in the world, we don't really know the ins and outs of other clubs. So I guess the final question is, it's the season opener. It's a Sunday afternoon, which is not ideal for travelling Leicester fans, to be fair. But anyway, that's by the by. So, I mean, how do you see the game going? How do you think you'll approach, playing against us? And do you want to go for a result and score prediction?
Yeah, sure. I think we're all sort of burnt by 2 years ago, where we had a really strong Prem Cup campaign before the season. And we came into Bristol away, start the season. We were all flying and feeling pretty confident and good about ourselves. And within 20 minutes, you'd racked up a massive lead, and we were hopeless, and it sort of set the tone for the rest of the season. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Obviously, there's internationals missing still. The England boys haven't played yet, so if they do play for us, they're going to go in cold, which isn't ideal. It all comes down to how we defend, because you boys, when you get going, are just like when you tore us apart at Welford Road, we defended horrendously. We completely got our tactics wrong in terms of how to defend against you. We sort of have some success when we do a smother defence, where we just you have to win the initial collision in the midfield, but then smother on the outside and not try and smash you to Kingdom Come. At Welford Road, we weren't winning that initial collision, so you were getting on the front foot, and then our backs were running out the line trying to smash you, and you just played round us, just toyed with us. Really, it was embarrassing how well you were just getting through us. So but then we came back to your place and we defended properly, and we got the physicality right. We got the smother defence back in the game, and we held out for the win. So if we do, it's how it goes really. If we defend like we did at Welford Road, you'll wrap up the points and we'll be hopeless. If we defend how we should defend against you, because we do have a bit of success when we learn to defend properly, then it makes it a game, and it makes it interesting to see. It could go either way at that point, but I think with being at your place, I think you probably have a slight advantage in that respect. I think you have to respect Bristol at home. You've got to respect Bristol just for how you attack. So I'd at this moment in time, I'd say narrow Bristol win, something like 25-22. But it depends on how we front up. If we do front up and we get it right, then we'll make it an 80-minute game. And it could, at that point, I'd probably back our physicality over 80 minutes just to sort of smudge it our way, really. I think it'll come down to the weather. I mean, the weather plays such a part in how teams move the ball, because we've sort of noticed that in our Prem Cup game. If it's a dry track, it's a lot easier to move the ball. And with Radders and Hassel Collins, we are in a position now where we can be more expansive. I think that was part of, to bring it back to one of the original questions about the running, having Radwan come in, it was just sort of a massive game changer for us. It has completely changed how we sort of approach the game and how we sort of think about rugby. Just a single signing has completely changed it. And that's the thing. If it's a dry track, it's meat and drink for you boys because you do it from, it's your sort of DNA to move the ball around. Whereas for us, we sort of have to work at it a little bit more. It's not a priority for us. But when the conditions do favour it, we do seem a lot more confident. And it is quite noticeable. If we can get on front foot, one of the things that Jeff has sort of instilled in us is saying, look, if it's on, I'll back you to play it. Like, you don't have to. He's not quite the full Bristol in terms of playing fast and loose, but he is very much of the sort of. You can tell he's been in the Southern Hemisphere for the last few years because he is very much like move the ball. If it's on, I'll back you to play it, and here's the framework. But go outside it if you want to. So it'd be interesting if the weather holds. I think you'll see two teams that will move the ball pretty quickly. I think that is if it rains, we will go full old Leicester. We will do every stereotypical Leicester approach you've seen, up the jumper, scrum it, and just kick chase the hell out of it. But if it's dry, I think you will see a Leicester team there will be a bit of ambition, I think, which makes it interesting. That was one thing that sort of set us apart, really, was that when we started moving the ball a little bit, we suddenly became a lot more dangerous, really. But yeah, fascinating.
Well, I think I'm just looking at the time. I think we met and knock it on the head. But that is brilliant. Really, really appreciate you coming on a Sunday morning to chat to us. Really, really good to hear your insights to the Tigers. And I mean, fingers crossed that A, it's a really, really good game, and B, we win. So, and maybe we'll be back in touch with you later on in the season. When it's the rematch, and maybe one of two of us might even try and make it up to Welford Road, because we can't go into it now, but we've had some good times up there in recent years involving Nathan Hughes and kebab shops and stuff like that. So we need to really get back up to Welford Road, don't we, Lee?
We certainly do. Yeah, it's one of our favourite places to go, isn't it?
Brilliant. All right. Cheers.
We'll have a beer for you, boys. Have a beer for you.
Fantastic. Cheers, mate.
Sounds good.
Anytime.
Cheers, Elliott.
Cheers.
Okay, so that was Elliott. Yeah, really, really good guy. Really interested. Really knows his stuff. He was quietly confident, I think, but he was also being quite respectful to us. He recognises that away game at Ashton Gate, first game of the season. If we get our mojo going, it could be difficult. But I'd like to see what let's get it from the horse's mouth, as it were. You're in camp, James. You're in the thick of it all. I mean, how, without giving away too many trade secrets, like what's this week going to be like as you lead up to Sunday? When do you find out when the team's announced? What happens when it is announced? What do the kind of supporting players do? Do they, how does it all work basically?
So we will find out the team on Tuesday. So it'll normally be our Monday meeting, but for Sunday game we'll have Monday off. Come in Tuesday, find out the team. Review Gloucester from last week, and then that's pretty much Gloucester done then. So that one's dealt with. Then we'll have like a preview meeting. We'll go through all our moves and stuff for the Leicester game. And while one team's going through our moves, the non-selectors, the non-23, will go and run Leicester moves.
Yeah.
What's that then?
Based on their analysis?
We'll watch a load of clips of them, and then whatever their sort of most common moves are and sort of systems of play, whether they run 2 off 10, 3 off 10 or whatever, they'll train like Leicester in the week. They'll go through Leicester's lineouts and similar options that they'll use. And then that's all in prep for the Wednesday training, which will be like our heavy day. So that'll be, if you need to clear off any contact, that'll be like a heavy mauling, scrumming day. Yeah. Still sort of 4 or 5 days away from the game. So get through that. And then the whole week then sort of tapers towards the game. So Wednesday will be off, come in for recovery and skills if you want it. Thursday's like a real fast session, sort of 30, 40 minutes on pitch, just fine tuning. Friday's that. Saturday will be our captain's run, and then
Sunday game.
Sunday refreshed, ready to go.
See, I love that. Yeah. That's exactly what listeners love, is the insight into what happens up there, or during a week. With the match day on a weekend. It's brilliant. I love it.
I know you're all season, you do this year in, year out, but do you get nervous during the week at all, or do you get nervous at any time, or is it just the night before?
Night before. I think first game will obviously be a bit more nervy than most as well, but normally it's night before. We can't really sleep, but...
Yeah. Do you engage in any kind of you keep away from social media or like the press?
I personally quite like it. Sort of, I quite like seeing James Dunn's useless or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't seen you play yet this season, have they? So that's a bit harsh.
Going to get a load of people saying James Dunn's useless now.
No.
I feel like stuff like that, if you can find any sort of thing to give you a little extra edge or motivation.
So that would spur you on.
Yeah,
I think so. Whereas if you had someone like Gabs, he'd be like, so chilled about it, just wouldn't care at all.
And I can imagine,
And I guess obviously very first game of the season, you don't know, fans don't know. We've got new players in. We literally haven't got a clue of the team sheet. So I guess you're saying about sort of keeping away from social media, but I mean there's not going to be too much negative. Surely, is their first game of the season? I think as fans, we are God goodness knows we've been waiting since that Bath game to get back down Ashton Gate. And so excited. So I mean, whatever the team sheet, flipping out. I think just bring on next Sunday. Whatever whatever team is picked.
Sorry to butt in, Miles. One thing that it did make me laugh about Elliott, and I'm going to bring this up, right? But he tended to. He said basically, if it's a dry day, then Leicester would have a go at us, right? Running the ball. And as he was saying it, I mean, we were doing the interview this morning, and I was thinking,
shaking your head,
just go for it, mate. I'm really hoping we got a lovely dry day because I think that would play into our hand massively. And I am feeling really optimistic. I think we'll beat them by at least 8 points, at least.
I mean, they've got new head honcho, haven't they? So, I guess we don't know over the summer whether there's been tweaks in the style of play. Michael Checker out and piling in. So, I guess time will tell.
Do you have any contact with any of the opposition? Because you must know some of them from like England or youth academy, youth staff or previous.
Leicester would be less so. I don't know many of the Leicester boys to chat to anyway. I think if they do play a running style, it's still Jeff Parling, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's known for being a line-out operator.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Leicester's DNA, isn't it? If they beat you up front, then they can run the ball. But they obviously made a Prem final, which probably should have won it as well.
Well,
well, that's what we said to Elliott. It's like, he said he made a good point actually. That was same with us is that. He said that really it almost feels like it's a bit of a phony war up to the Six Nations, and then after the Six Nations, it's then just it's whoever nails the run in and gets the momentum, and it's going to be like that. I guess it's going to be like that again this season. But
I think a quick start's important, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like I think you set the tone in the first 3 games really, and we've obviously got. Have you got Leicester, Sarries, and Exeter?
Yeah.
So physical 3 games to start with, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
good for the body.
Good for the body. Looking forward to that.
Good for the shoulder.
Get the old ice cooler ready. Get all the get the ice baths going. No, I mean it's. I mean from our perspective, all we can focus on is like Sunday. We just want to have we just want to be like we want to be here in Freed from Desire, like on repeat the whole time, but not for them. But and I want to be doing dad dancing in the stands. But
no Sweet Caroline.
I want those light up posts.
Yeah, well done. I think you said
brilliant
that.
mention.
Was I said that to someone else? Like what? Like what would be the reason not to have them?
$6,000 a game.
Ooh, you're kidding me.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the reason.
Tommy ain't going to pay that.
No.
I messaged Taints.
Yeah.
I was at the game and I was sat with Rich Lane, and then we were like, that's sick because obviously it's programmed in time to music and everything. Messaged Taints saying, what are the chances of us keeping these posts up then? And he was like.
No chance.
Don't think so, mate.
I mean, surely there's some cheap alternative from China, isn't there? Some cheap LEDs that me, Lee and Pete could knock up.
Home bargains.
I just think it'd be quite, even just like, doesn't have to flash, but just blue and white stripes on it.
I agree. Green for a successful kick. I mean,
let's be honest, and Tom he won't mind me saying this. I mean, we struggle with basic fireworks, to be fair, at the club. I think LED lights. I mean, once the England rugby wagon rolls out of Bristol, and I'm not sure we can cope with
that's
that.
mean. He already defended himself last.
Our fireworks are better than Sarries.
Yeah,
I think it was we played Sarries last year, and genuinely the first 20 minutes couldn't see anything.
Oh, because of the
smoke.
fog.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something that they don't really always take into account. They need a weather consultant as well to decide.
We have the burners, don't we?
Yeah. Those are blooming hot. You know what? When we're in the Dolmen,
It's quite nice yesterday. The women's game.
They are seriously powerful stuff. And I don't know. I guess I don't know where you're running out when those things go off. So you're probably just far enough away from them to.
I always forget that that's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just like a jump scare every time.
Yeah.
They're proper eyebrow singers, aren't they?
Right. Here's a thought. Let's assume that it's all going well on Sunday. And obviously, when things go well, I think Downsy starts getting more sort of
Lippy.
Excited. And
vociferous.
Out of those stuff, I don't know whether you're aware of. Are you aware of it in the game when there's a bit of a break and then we do like wave? There's wave cam and Simba cam. And then they've done look-a-likey. I don't know if you've ever. I don't know if we.
Do you ever look up at the screen and see if there's any good?
I remember sometimes because you'll hear for Simba cam they play the live.
And some
so like you can hear that.
Yeah,
it's a bit weird actually because you can't really hear any individual chanting or shouting.
No,
it's like. You just get like a warp of noise.
Yeah.
And you can tell, because normally your head's in a mall or something.
Bristol
starts.
So
You can hear.
Because you really only get that either when you're defending the line or you're trying to pick and go on the line. To be honest, let's be honest.
That's quiet when we're in the middle of
it is because it's not. It's. No, I suppose. I mean, I say it to you boys then maybe because James got other things to think about maybe when he's on the pitch. But what would you say is that if we're playing well, what would you like to see out of those sort of those three things that happen? Simba cam, wave cam, or look-a-likey. What's your favourite one, Lee?
Well, I think they're all a bit shit, to be honest.
I can't believe you said that.
Do you know what my favourite would be?
If I was if I was going to pick one, it would be the look-a-likey.
Yeah,
because it's humorous.
Yeah,
do you know? I'm gonna vote on a new cam. Do you know what it'd be called? Nothing quiet cam.
What's that? How does that work?
Well, I don't like any of them.
Oh, I see. You just want so no cam.
No cam.
I think they've look-a-likey was brilliant, but they let themselves down. And I don't know whether we talked about this last one. They had Bob the Builder, but it wasn't. It was like a bloke dressed up as Bob the Builder in fancy dress, and that's not a look-a-likey. They let themselves down. Whoever does that.
And also, I remember a while back when we had there was a player's face and we had the head. And then the eyes.
Yeah.
And to guess who it was.
And we could quite clearly remember Downsy giving the answers to the guy. And we're thinking like, what? That's shocking.
It'd be quite nice if the look-alike cam was just a little bit more brutal though.
I think it's got to be harsh.
Yeah.
Or even if they pan to Kloska on the pitch.
Yeah.
And then
just do it on the players. Yeah.
It's like Wilco Low.
Yeah.
It's like spit image of Wilco Low.
There's a lot of potential with getting that. Although we get
that's harsh.
that miles. Anyway, we digress.
Best thing yesterday. You were down at the game, weren't you? With the women's said. Mexican wave went down 3 to 4 times. I mean, we just long for that down at a Bears home game.
Tony's not happy, I can tell.
You weren't happy with it?
Football,
yeah, because it's always at the same point in every game.
Yeah,
it's always about
a lull.
It's always about 50 minutes in.
Yeah, probably was.
A bit of a lull, isn't it?
To be fair, the only time Ashton Gate can do a Mexican wave really is when the Atio's got people in it, and that's not all the time. So it's quite unusual.
It's like a horseshoe, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think
you need to task the Bears Beyond the Gate listeners. To come up with a chant.
Yeah. Well, this has been discussed a lot.
Yeah. Like individual player chants.
Yeah.
Bit more. Don't want it to turn into football, but like a bit more.
We need something.
Would be quite nice.
I mean, famously, the one time that's happened was when Genji had signed. And that's that's what we discussed.
But he was playing for Tigers.
But he was playing for Tigers, but he'd already committed. And then we had all discussed about, like, at some point, everyone's got to sing, he's coming home, Genji. And there was this moment in the first half where he walked 50 yards to the ref to talk to the ref as captain, and everybody started singing it. And it went round the whole stadium. We definitely started it.
See, that
was good.
That's good, isn't
it was good.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, we need to get on that. You're right. We've talked about, there's been a lot of chat about, like, songs and, like, stuff and people talk. But actually, you're right. You've got to keep it quite simple. Maybe just, like, focus on, a player chant.
Just, like, even just like a little Wurzel song, but it's just the crowd singing it.
Yeah, it's to be honest, mate, it's discussed a lot, and I don't know. It's football is different, and I don't know, but I think it's got to be. I mean, it's. I think the club needs to help a little bit as well, and if there was some sort of agreed song that they can start it off through the tannoy, because they do now. I don't know if you notice this, that they actually start putting Bristol on the screen to kind of. So it makes me think that it needs to be a collaborative effort.
I went to a game at like an England Euros game at Wembley, and before it started, they put all the lyrics to "It's Coming Home" on.
And that was,
and everyone knows the song everywhere, obviously, but like
that was so
everyone
good.
then sings it.
But you know,
if you had like Drink Up the Cider,
yeah.
But everyone singing it at 30 minutes in.
Yeah, it's doable.
I've watched a couple of games in Germany, football matches, and they literally have a guy or people, hour before kickoff, and they get all the songs going, and they get all the crowd up. So before the game's even kicked off, everyone's in a state of like frenzy.
Yeah,
you can actually have a pint watching it.
Yeah.
Unlike football, so you would get buy-in on it.
No, you've given it's a challenge it's the done challenge has been set for fans. So like we have to step up as well. It's not just, I mean, you boys put your bodies on the line. We have to step up as well.
That's the least we can do in the stands.
Yeah. Well, look, let's say so. It's hard really to. I suppose the only other thing I was going to mention to you is some of the new players that have come in. So we've mentioned Lewis Rees-Zammit. We've got Tom Jordan who's come in. We've got you might know
Luca,
the big the Georgian lad, as I call him, Big Luca.
Ivanash.
Yeah, it's not actually. I looked at it. I should have done with prep. It wasn't actually quite as bad as I thought. It's quite easy to.
Ivanash.
Yeah, Ivanashvili. It's quite phonetic. I mean,
Gareth Chilcott still wouldn't be able to.
What? Yeah. Well, he just make it up. But how are those boys settled in? Are we looking forward? Should we be looking forward to see these boys perform?
Tom Jordan's a lovely bloke.
Yeah,
he giggles at everything.
Yeah,
it's just like I didn't realise he was as Kiwi as
no. You thought he was going to come and say, "Oh, yeah, mate, I was a Gillen lad.
Everything.
Where's your trousers?
Everything's mean, bro."
Yeah.
He's
chilled Kiwi,
proper player as well.
Yeah, no, he's seriously good. I mean, yeah. So we just don't want him to get injured. Well, that's always the problem.
Luca's a nutter.
Yeah.
Good. That's what we need the nutter.
It's one of them ones you want to avoid in training.
Yeah.
He's like, he just hits everything.
Yeah.
And he's got one mode, which
hit hard.
I love it, to be honest.
And when are we likely? I mean, Pedro, we talked about him before. He's obviously, you're going to be going toe to toe with him.
He's a serious player.
When's he due? I mean, he's a serious. He went full 80 with the All Blacks, didn't he? And
he can play 6 if he wants.
Yeah. I think he looks,
exactly.
He looks more a 6.
Yeah.
You get a bit of mass, sail away or something.
Yeah, I think so. Well, look, I think I don't think there's much more we can say about the game. I think we're all waiting for it. You've given us a good insight, and it's just going to come. Sunday's going to come, and it will be what it'll be, and hopefully it'll be fun.
And we'll be winning.
Yeah, and we won't. As you say, it's good. It's not a disaster if you don't win the first game, but it's good to get a good start, and it'd be good to make a statement at home. We talk a lot about building a fortress at Ashton Gate. We have little metaphors about drawbridges and stuff like that. But we definitely want to see a bit of brickwork.
It'd be nice to be consistent, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, but it would be nice to win a fair few games at home, wouldn't it?
But I think we've come to the conclusion that that's never going to happen, really. I don't know, just because we know the way we like to play, it is a bit risk and reward, and we're going to have to accept some ups and some downs, and the Bristol roller coaster. And if we wanted consistency, it would just be boring. It would just be, box kick or, ball up the jersey, whatever. So
yeah, I mean, we don't do a load of kicking.
No, exactly.
Not So I think we just don't know, do we? It's fun to look forward to it. We'll see what happens.
I mean, the weather. I think the weather over the next couple of weeks looks dry, doesn't it? So let's hope Leicester try and bring that running game and just outscore them, which is what Bristol generally do, isn't it? Outscore every team, get most bonus points, and
apart from Sale. But anyway, let's forget about that. That was just a bad day at the office.
I think as fans and listeners, we are just looking forward to another great season, aren't we? Where we can hit top 4 and finish even higher, hopefully.
Did I mention the Sale game on the pod last time?
Probably.
I did the little speech at 31 points down.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Did it get worse from there?
We lost 30. We lost 30-0, but 31 points down. I was at the Attio end under our sticks. And I was like, we don't effing get nilled at home and all this.
Yeah.
got the boys a little bit, thought it got them a little bit pumped. We'd taken the kick off. Joey Owen sprinted, knocked himself straight out, and we conceded straight away. I was like, oh, brilliant.
That's just bad timing, but yeah. No, he didn't tell us about that. Yeah. All right. Well,
I mean, we certainly don't want to repeat of that, do we?
Well,
being nilled at home this season.
No, that was last season.
We put that to bed.
In the past.
Put that to bed. That's had his bedtime story. That's had his milk. That's gone. That's tucked up and
like
gone.
Tom Tatum putting his Litland to bed now.
Exactly.
Well,
look, mate. Unless, you had one thing you wanted to mention, about the one of our listeners.
Well,
you go for it.
It would be remiss of me not to mention this because listeners are up in arms.
Yeah,
I think that's not too harsh to say because I would say a friend of the pod. I was chatting to yesterday. I don't know if you know Matt Crute. So Crute, he was at the game yesterday, wasn't he? And he's committed the cardinal sin. So he's basically had a half.
You're not going to say what?
Yeah. Let him say it.
Yeah, he's been in possession of a half and half scarf. and I'm disappointed in Matt because I don't think he would have mentioned anything apart from the fact that it was actually shown on the big screen, which was on TV, obviously. And I think that's the only reason he's come out now and trying to defend himself. And I don't know about you boys, but I think the motion from Mr. Crute is definitely at hand.
What have you got against the half and half scarf?
I hate them.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, because I'm English, Dunny. I'm English.
Yeah, but
I'm not French.
But the whole point of
it's not a scarf to wear. It's a scarf to show where
commemorative.
You've been.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
where have you been? Have you been in England or in France?
But would you?
It's nonsense.
We used to have programs for things like that. Let's get back to programs
like
again.
You wouldn't have a Bristol Bath half and half in
no,
your house,
never.
Would you? What would you?
That'd be horrible.
No, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like I'm not. You're not interested in the opposition. I'm not interested. The only I think the occasion. There's other things that come out. I just think it's. And actually, there was some bloke selling them outside the beer factory on Saturday. I took a photo of it. That was why. And then I posted it out saying, "Oh dear" or something. Poor bloke though. He didn't. He I don't know.
You ruined his day, did you?
But you know what was the worst thing now is he'd been caught, right? And then he tried to blame his little
one. Yeah.
And that's like, come on, he's put his little one under the bus there, and I just think it's Crutey. You're a wrong one, mate.
I mean, does he need a red card, that boy, Crutey?
I think that's a straight red.
Or 20-minute red. 20-minute red, I think.
A 20-minute red, because he's I mean, he did admit to it. There was mitigation, and. But I think his red. He'll have. Yeah,
It's got to be accidental for a 20-minute red card.
And that's what I'm saying. It's his defences. You know, I didn't actually buy it. Like my little one bought it for me.
Maybe it was folded when he bought it.
Maybe folded. Maybe he thought it was just an England scarf, and then it was too late.
Folded on the French side.
Once the purchase has been made, you know, there's those sort of things when you buy them that you can't. There's no return. It's no sale. But anyway. We thought Ben mentioned that, but I sense that Dunny, you're not quite with us on this. You see the value of
half and half.
I mean,
I couldn't see myself ever getting one.
No,
but I do. I see the value.
Could you not have you could have a Dunny and Batley half and half scarf.
Yeah,
that would work.
That's fine.
That'd be good until Pedro.
Then Pedro in the middle. Yeah, like that little head popping out in the middle. Yeah, actually, there you go. There's a little thought for listeners. If we did have a half and half scarf of players, what would be the good combos to have in the squad?
Who would your 12-13 be?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, is it?
I can't answer. But
No. It's something to think about. Anyway, but I think with time's getting on and people, I imagine, want to stop listening to this. So, Dunny, really appreciate you coming on yet again. It's been a pleasure, and we do appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for having me.
I hope that it won't be too long before we see you smashing rucks.
Not too soon.
Hang on, what do I mean there? It's not going to be too long before we see you doing what you do well, which is get up, smash a ruck, get up, smash a ruck, and then maybe in about 6 months' time do an offload. So we look forward to that.
I mean, at least this season, I'm not going to get the facts wrong and get Mrs. Dunn literally berating me because I know that Dunny scored Prem before. So
I mean, is that a target that you want to try and score another try this season? Do you think?
I don't want another run in.
No.
I'd take a pick and go.
Yeah, pick and go. But anyway.
Nice.
I think on that moment we should say thanks very much.
Cheers,
massively
James.
for
Thank you
coming
very
in.
much.
Please give all our best for the boys for the season.
I will.
And we look forward to seeing them all run out on Sunday,
and day early.
Everyone out there, stay safe, enjoy the week, and 1, 2, 3.
Up the Bears.
Up the Bears.